Hello, guys. It's me, CGMB. Today we're gonna just kind of have a discussion. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go all the way there. Hold on. Yeah, we're just gonna have a little discussion today, and about some certain things that I like to talk about. Today we're playing American Truck Sim, the most relaxing game there is on the market. I do not have a steering wheel like William Coffey, unfortunately, so the gameplay might not be as peak, but I do have a controller, so I'm able to do this. I ignore every traffic law there is known to man as well. Like, see this car getting in my way. So, don't mind the off-roading, don't mind the great driving, but yeah, so the first thing I kind of want to talk about overall, Jesus Christ, wrong button. I have not played this game in such a long time. Is it this button? Oh, well, why isn't it letting me change my fucking camera? Jesus Christ. It should have been this button, right? It should be me pressing up, or maybe it's... whatever. Here we go. Alright, I played this camera angle. Anyway, the first thing I kind of want to discuss is just YouTube in general. Where I've been at in my life when it comes to YouTube, and why it's not, why you don't see many CGMB videos, if any. The state of the group, things of that nature. So, just kind of give you guys a bit of a background on, why YouTube in the first place. It was just something I really like to do. You know what I'm saying? And when you're a teenager and you have all the time in the world to just kind of play games and make videos, that's it's something that you're able to do. You know what I'm saying? And kind of as I grew up, or got older, I should say, certain priorities change. You know what I'm saying? So, Jesus Christ, I'm so good at this game. But priorities change, and where's this trailer at? Here it is. Yeah, priorities change. You know what I'm saying? So, and life changes fast. I'm pressing Y, bro. Whatever. I don't know why this wants to be difficult today. Something's probably not mapped right. But, priorities change, life changes. What you think you want in life changes. And all of a sudden, YouTube kind of took a back seat to a lot of things. And in all reality, YouTube was never really like the goal for me anyway. It was just kind of something that I enjoyed doing, and push comes to shove, on a lot of things, like, if you put a gun to my head right now and you tell me, oh, you need to make a decision, like, are you gonna, pursue your career, whatever that may be, or would you do YouTube? 10 times out of 10, I'm picking the career. I'm not saying you can't make a career off of YouTube, and I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could. Obviously, with a lot of luck and work, to go along with that. But it's just, like I said, you have to be lucky. You have to be extremely lucky, first of all. You got to know how the system works on YouTube. And when you're looking at the current state of YouTube in general, and you look at the style of videos that I used to make, and I continue to make, it's there's a stark contrast. There's kind of some dissonance in that. I was always a laid back type of guy, like, I'm gonna relax, have fun, minimal editing, don't do too much, and then just kind of go with the flow type of style. And I feel like YouTube, if you want to make it big at least, or you want to get popular or blow up, you have to have the hyper editing. You have to be energetic all the time. You have to go on TikTok, make shorts, and it's just, to me, the amount of time you gotta sink into it compared to what you get out of it, especially initially. It's just for a chance. It's basically, you do all that just to have a chance in the lottery. You know what I'm saying? And I don't play lottery. I don't do that. At least I don't try to do that. I try to stay away from that. I have a lot of, I wouldn't say issues with control, but I feel like I need to be in control of things at all times, and I can't control if YouTube blows up or it doesn't. I can't control that, so why would I try? You know what I'm saying? And I'm never gonna diss a person for doing YouTube or trying to make it a career, trying to make it a living, or people who do have it as a living. Like, I'll never diss somebody for that. I mean, that's their value that they provide to the world. They're good at it. They are lucky, It's just simply something that I really don't have an interest in doing, compared to a lot of other people. Like, and to be honest, I don't even really play games anymore, really. Like, I'll play the occasional game here and there, but I'm really not gaming anymore. Like, my career path is, I'm currently a general manager at a restaurant, on track to own restaurant within the next year or so, or have the potential to open up a new chain in a completely new city, and grow very rapidly from there. At such a young age, you know what I'm saying? And, was it something that I always thought I'd be doing? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a professional baseball player. I wanted to And if that didn't work, I wanted to be like a software engineer, um, something to that sort. You know, restaurant manager. Jesus fucking Christ, restaurant manager or owner didn't seem like it was really in the cards for me until it was in the cards for me. You know what I'm saying? And then once those things kind of took off, well, really, yeah, until those things, I guess that explains the now. Once that kind of took off, um, YouTube's not really. It doesn't really make sense, at least compared to what the fuck, what the, Jesus Christ, people. Nah, I'm fucked. Oh my god, I fucking hate people. I definitely would have killed somebody in real life there, and I don't care. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just not in the cards anymore. You know what I'm saying? Um, that explains the recent why, but the initial why. So I was really into it when I was actually in college. At least, well, let me backtrack. When I was staying in a dorm room in college, which actually, do I get it off at the right one? I think so. This is weird. When I was living in college, like in a dorm room and everything, and then I moved in with my girlfriend at the time. Quit playing baseball for physical injury reasons. And I started coaching, actually. Um, but at the time, I thought that was the woman I was going to be with for the rest of my life. So YouTube took a back seat. You know what I'm saying? I had to work full time. Still was going to school, coaching baseball, everything. All kind of at the same time. So YouTube took a back burner, and quite honestly, so did gaming. Um, it was just kind of like, okay, I need to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, so I just felt like I needed to grow up, and a lot of that went to the side. You and could I have lived, the typical college teenage life? Decided not to move in. Decided not to work full time. Keep living in a dorm. Break up with my girlfriend, who ended up who ended up who ended up being unfaithful, to say the least, towards the end. Least to my knowledge, towards the end. Could have I lived my life a little bit differently? Absolutely, I could have lived my life differently, and I think this is where I kind of differ from a lot of people, my age. I never needed external validation in that sense of I need to go out and party. I need to go out and hang out with people, spend money. I need to do this, and that. When I grew up in a household where I didn't have a lot to begin with, in the sense of I had great loving parents. You know what I'm saying? But do we have the ability to go out and do a lot of these things, or Red light usage. Fuck you. It's fucking bright out. The sun's still out. Why the fuck you? Oh, whatever. I don't care. But I do care. Yeah, fuck you. I'm cutting you off. But, you know, I didn't need to go out and party, to say the least. Like, that didn't fulfill me as a human being. And it still doesn't. You know, what fulfills me as a human being... What the... You're gonna pop me twice for it? Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ. What the fuck? This is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. You're gonna fucking pop me twice for this bullshit. It's on, you pussy bitch. But what fulfills me as a person is, you know, it took me a long time to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Or, I guess, be able to put words to what I already kind of felt. You know, and that's chasing a goal. You know, you know, whether it was career, money, YouTube for that fact, even just chasing something that I wanted or I want will always trump anything else. You know, that's what I value over a lot of things. I'm a very ambitious person, if you know me in real life. I spread myself very thin when it comes to a lot of things in my life. And to be honest, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without it. Is it tiring at times? 100%. Is it hard? 100%. But a lot of people, you know, can't do what I do on a daily basis. That maneuver is cold as shit. You can't even lie. Yeah, I know I can do a lot of things that, you know, a lot of people can't do, or they just don't want to do. Like, you know, and without getting into too much details on things, you know, that's I'm going to be very well off in my life because of it. Now, granted, I feel like at times I might be chasing the wrong things, to say the least, particularly with women. And part of that may be because of stuff I've dealt with, particularly with my ex-girlfriend, who I was extremely close with. You know, and not to say that I'm not over. Well, I am over the person. But I think what I'm not over is the feeling of having someone like that in my life. And quite honestly, not, you know, realizing what it meant to me to begin with, until it was too late, till it was gone. You know what I'm saying? But that's I guess that's just a life lesson that I'll have to carry with me for the rest of my life. I could have done things differently. She could have done things differently. I mean, like, you know, that's just how things go. I think my problem with it afterward is I'm trying to chase the same feeling that I got with that in people who who quite frankly can't give that feeling back. You know what I'm saying? And I've had a few relationships since then that kind of where I think I put this kind of expectation on the people that, you know, this is what it's supposed to be. And maybe I caught lightning in a bottle early, you know, with the first relationship. You know, to say that I hold people to a high standard, or at least I expect people to meet a certain standard, is probably the most accurate way I could put it. I think my problem is, you know, I think I believe in the potential too much. You know, I believe that, you know, they could eventually hit the standard when I need to realize that, you know, hey, they just can't hit the standard. Fuck you. I don't care about money. Yeah, when they just can't hit the standard to begin with, you know. And that's not my fault. And I think I've been putting a lot of blame on myself for a lot of things when it comes to that. That's another cop. And I always put a lot of blame on myself when it comes to a lot of things. You know, I always look at situations and been like, okay, I could have done this differently. My brain works in a weird way. Like, I see something, I need to know how to make it better. Like, if it doesn't work out, I need to know how to make it better. Or at least how to fix things. And you know, sometimes I can't get that from the other person, and that pisses me off. Or it makes me feel some type of way. You know, maybe I expect too much out of people sometimes. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the problem, although I've had my fair share of mistakes. Some that I actually do regret making. Some that, you know, aren't really what my character is. You know, I can't change that. You know, and, you know, maybe one or two of them are mistakes I can't come back from. Not to say that there hasn't been other mistakes on the other side that, quite frankly, I've been given a pass to, or I have given a pass to, consciously. Like I said, I'm banking on the potential versus the actual reality of the situation. You know, I see the good. I see all the good, and I want to ignore the bad, or at least make the bad seem not as bad because of what I think can be good. And, you know, sometimes that leads me to holding on longer than I should. Or going back to things that I shouldn't. Or, you know, Jesus Christ, I'm going to finish this load. Pause. and then I'll be on my way to sleep. But, you know, all this to say, like, you know, I I've come to the recent realization, particularly since this most recent thing I've been a part of, where it was a little bit more personal to me, in a certain way, that I don't really want to delve too deep on a public platform like this. One which I know that someone might see and take a certain way. You know, do I wish they would? I'm not gonna go the right way. I'm gonna go this way because I can. But all this to say, really, that was it worth the chase to begin with? I don't think there's. I need to go to sleep first before I take a contract. Not to say that, like, what. Not to say that what happened, was a mistake, or I didn't enjoy parts of it, or we ignore this. Not to say that. I wouldn't, if I had a time machine. Would I do it again? Absolutely. With this particular person, yeah, I would do it all again. With the good that happened. Would I want the bad that comes with it? Not particularly. But hold on. Not particularly. But did I just completely miss a? Not particularly. Like this person knew my history on certain things, and I knew her history on certain things too, to be honest. Gave her the benefit of the doubt. I thought I could trust her to understand, stuff I've been through, and at least respect me enough as a person to handle certain things with a certain level of maturity or respect to me as a person. And it didn't happen, and it sucks because I think the potential was there for something, but I also think it boils down to just priorities again. I do not live life very normally, to say the least, compared to people my age, to put it lightly. I was just in a spot where I could have slept, and I decided not to sleep. Are you kidding me? The potential's there. I believe. Did she believe it? Maybe at one point. Where's gas station at? Over here. But what's done is done. She made her choices. I made my choices. And that's that. can't dwell on it too long. Especially if the other person, I guess my best word of advice to myself, or if someone came up to ask me for my advice on a situation that was exactly like this, I would tell them that she has her priorities in life. She thinks, dang, she thinks that she's gonna be okay without you, and you gotta kind of live with that reality. At the end of the day, God, I thought I was gonna sneeze again. Yeah, you gotta kind of live with that reality at the end of the day. And go chase what you need to chase. It's all about chasing something. Just gotta learn to chase the right things. Kind of goes back into YouTube. I don't need to chase YouTube. I'm gonna chase a very lucrative career. I'm gonna chase my passion in baseball, coaching at least. Dang, freaking sneezing all the time now. And she's gonna chase a dopamine hit. And that's gonna be most people, honestly. They're gonna chase whatever makes them feel good in the moment, or whatnot. And that's the way people are gonna live. Jesus Christ. No, they're gonna. I think that's a lot of people nowadays, especially younger people my age. They're gonna chase. They're gonna chase that one feeling every single night. And in 3 years, what are they gonna have to show for it? You can either chase a dream or you can chase a hit. And I guarantee you, the path to the least amount of regret, in my experience, is the one that. Where is this gas pump? Is it on the other side? Did I miss it? Being stupid. The path of least regret is, the one where you're honest with yourself, with the people around you. And you chase the right things. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot here, but it's the truth. Where the heck is this gas pump? I just gotta find another one. Because I guarantee you, if you're ever doubting yourself in life, doubting what you want to do, or who you are as a person, just kind of take a look at the mirror and be like, am I doing the things I need to be doing to get where I want to go? Right, and that can mean a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? If your end goal in life You know, you want to be a family person. You want to just live or work a 9 to 5. Um, go home to your family. You know, um, watch the kids grow up, retire. Um, don't 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 live with a lot of stress. How are you gonna get to that point? You know what I'm saying? Um, what do you offer to the world to get to that point? What are you doing now to get to that point? You know, um, do you need a fit to really get your degree? Um, do you need to go out and network with people to get a job that you want to get? You know, um, always seek personal and internal growth or internal um, validation over external forces. Like what I'm kind of learning is, why would I need to chase a woman right now? You know, when I can build myself, and when you know, and I'm not a religious person at all when I say this, but you know, trust the timing of the universe, that when you are ready to receive that blessing in your life, you are ready to receive that blessing. You know, um, and be able to hold on to that. You know, so um, I don't know. I know I'm just kind of rambling. And quite frankly, I'm sober while I'm doing this. Um, I just have a lot on my mind, a lot of thoughts. Always lots of thoughts in my mind. Um, always lots of thoughts. Fire truck, can't beat me. You know, talk about regrets, maybe. Uh, you know, um, do I regret my time on YouTube? No. Do I regret the personal relationships I've built? No, I do not. Um, do I regret, not being in touch with certain people as much as I can be? Absolutely. Um, I'm online sometimes, and they'll be online, and I'll choose to kind of stay to myself. Not because they're bad people. I hate them. Um, no one's ever done anything wrong to me. Um, and I'm sure if I had something going on in my life that I needed to talk to somebody, they would be there. Um, um, Best example I can provide you guys is my personal friendship with a YouTube channel formerly known as Jorston. Um, Jorston, the YouTuber persona, and Jorston, the human person. You know, um, I wouldn't say they're different people because they're really not. But once you get to know under the hood a little bit, or once I got to know under the hood a lot more,
we kind of, fuck you, car. Kind of got to know each other a lot more. Especially on a personal level. I can assure you that the person I'm closest with in the recording group to this day, other than my other friend, William. I really only have two friends, to be honest, that I really talk to consistently, and would bring up personal matters with. Two people that I trust with my life. And it's Justin and Will. I can't be more appreciative of those people in my life right now. And not to say that I don't have any other friends, and that I wouldn't talk to other people. But those two are definitely the people I'm closest with, for sure. No doubt about it. I'll talk to Kyler, Vrex I wouldn't say every once in a while, pretty consistently. Does he know about a lot of my personal stuff? No. I'll talk to another in real life friend every once in a while. Personal stuff. Maybe sometimes I can. But overall, no. But those two have been really good friends to me for the past few years. In a lot of ways. Could I have been a better friend? Absolutely. At times, I could have been a better friend. And instead of chasing, relationships with people who, do care about me, I decided I needed to chase relationships with people who, maybe wanted to care about me but never actually did. And to those people, I apologize. And for that, I apologize publicly. And I'll say it personally too. But and it's kind of funny, I mean, obviously, I would have still known Will if I hadn't done YouTube. But would I have known Justin if I did YouTube? You know what I'm saying? I think it all kind of just, everything happens for a reason. And he would say, Justin would say that, that's the religious me talking. Maybe there is a little bit of a miracleness to it, you know what I'm saying, or a weird coincidence, you know what I'm saying. And I'm not, and I couldn't be more grateful for the relationship I've built with those people in particular. And when it comes to the other boys, like Rosie Clay, people like that, whom I have briefly spoke to on and off. This car is just not going to move, by the way, so I have to back up. There. Okay, maybe they are going to move. But, maybe I could have built, deeper relationships with those people. And maybe I still can, hopefully it's not too late on certain things. Not, like I said, not that we've done anything bad to each other or the fact that maybe there's any malicious intent on anything, because there's not, never was malicious intent on anything. But yeah. But I don't know if I'll be making YouTube videos like I used to. Maybe the occasional one when I feel it, when I feel inspired, or I feel like, screw it, I want to make a shit post type deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna make a serious type of video. At least not like what I used to. I'm not gonna spend 10 hours a week editing one video. I'm not gonna go through 12 hours of footage to make a 5-minute video again. Because that's just it's not worth my time, quite honestly. Do I have enough fans that give a damn? Probably not, to be honest. Who gives a damn? But at the end of the day, it's night. Maybe this is a little bit more depressing than it needed to be. I'm not crying. I have really bad nasal sickness right now. But I didn't mean for this all to be as depressing and my life sucks. And my life doesn't suck. It doesn't suck at all, actually. I think I live a great life. I live a fulfilling life. It's just, like I said, I have thoughts that I need to spit out sometimes. I'm a very introspective guy as well. I'll sit and think about something for a long time. Yeah. And it just kind of loops. I wouldn't say loops really. It doesn't loop actually. It just kind of continues and continues and continues, like down this long rabbit hole of thought that is just kind of crazy. But no, I'm grateful to be where I'm at. And I'm just kind of reflecting on some decisions I made in my life, some situations I've been in my life, and how it's kind of turned out for me. You know what I'm saying? And learning from chasing the wrong things or the wrong people. Definitely the wrong people on a few things, and then, or at least trying to recreate a person. At least the feeling of a person, and maybe I'm just not healed yet when it comes to that. Maybe I got more work to do. Maybe I just need to keep focusing on what makes me me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of chasing the external, it's kind of ironic. Like I said, I need to take my own advice sometimes.
Instead of chasing the external, chase the internal. Chase the internal. What's gonna make me the best me? What's gonna make you the best you at the end of the day? Um, and go get it. And I think that's certainly what I'm gonna do for the foreseeable future. I'm gonna take a vacation in January. Um, I'm gonna go out, see the world. I'm gonna chase my career. I'm gonna do a good job. Keep hitting goals. And just spend time with relationships that are worth keeping. Um, and not to say I've devalued some friendships along the way, because I've always valued particular people that I've come across, but actively engaging with people or checking in with people, what I'm saying. And just check up and see how they're doing. And maybe that's all it takes sometimes for me. Is what I need to do. Maybe I need to check in every once in a while. Yeah. All this to say, all of this to say, uh, you know, who I was, a few years ago when I was really doing YouTube and to where I am now. Yes. What's that face for? Alright. I'm sure it's nothing. Sorry, my sister is walking into the room. I live with my sister now, by the way. Man. But, who I am today versus who I was years ago. Kind of a night and day difference, I think. And quite honestly, a lot of shit changed me. A lot of stuff has changed me, who I am, and helped me figure out who I am and what I want. So I'm gonna go get that. Does that involve YouTube in the near future? No, it does not. It does not at all involve YouTube. Fuck. I guess the catalyst. The catalyst for this drastic change. Hold on, I gotta readjust my seat. The catalyst for all of this was getting cheated on, and I wouldn't say it was only by it was officially one person, and then it led to a string of people afterward where I wasn't officially with somebody, but I wasn't officially the guy either. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say silver medals, to say the least, on a lot of relationships I've had since. And this, like I said, this last particular one really kind of
broke the facade in my head on a lot of things. Because it kind of mimicked a lot of behaviors of the initial one, and like I said, I've reflected in, I've kind of realized I'm chasing a ghost, not of someone, but of myself, when I was with somebody, and chasing the external never does you any good. But fuck these fuck the first one. If she still called me, I would still answer, and I would have a conversation. But this last one, there are some certain things that were done and said. I would not mince my words with this person, to say the least. There's little room for forgiveness on that end, on certain behaviors and actions. But the initial one, my long-term ex, I mean, that's just the type of person I'm not gonna get back together with her, obviously. She's honestly moved on to her new life, and to be honest, I'm happy for her. You know what I'm saying? In all honesty, she's getting what she's always wanted in life. I feel like, and our goals didn't really align. I think when we were together, at least the timing of our goals really, that's okay. Now I think she was free to choose her own goals in her own life, after everything, and I was free to choose my goals, and I think at the end of the day we were better off because of it. But no, man, I keep circling back to that. That's fucking crazy. That is freaking crazy. Jesus Christ, this recording's been going on for almost an hour now. Damn. Wow. And I've talked about relationships for like half of it. Good job. Good job, CG. Really good job. Way to not talk about it. But I'm probably gonna cut this off here because you've probably heard me ramble about far too much. If you're gonna take anything from this, I would say, don't be afraid to live life, make mistakes, and as long as you learn from them, as long as you can reflect, you can put down your ego in certain things, and you can learn. Also, I would find 1 or 2 good friends who actually, surround yourself with people who aren't going to just let you have your way or agree with you, who are going to challenge you. That would go a long way in your life. But this video is too long. I need a poop.
I'll see you in about half a year again. Adios. Holy fuck. I need to pause. Oh my god. I'll tab back in. Okay. Sorry. I definitely messed that up. Sorry. All right. Bye.